We all know of love stories where the parents or friends didn't approve of the relationship. In these stories, the love the couple has wins and they live happily ever after. A lot of this is from movies, books, and other stories. Some of it's from real life. However, not all the mismatched couples survive, and a lot find that their friends, families, and other sincerely concerned people were right. I'm not talking about a rich girl marrying a poor guy who has potential to support her and give her a good life, not just love, and is not using her to get ahead. I'm not talking about race either, when the two are equally paired or one has the potential to raise themselves to the other's status. When I speak of potential, I also mean that the person is going to use that potential to accomplish something, not just bask in the potential that is there. As an example, I will use the bad boy or bad girl. So you have a good girl or a good guy who starts a relationship with a bad boy or bad girl, and the family or friends don't approve. They think the person is dating down, or that the bad boy or girl is really a bad character that should be avoided. From now on, I am just going to use the good girl dating a bad boy scenario to avoid getting things too confusing. But it can apply to good guys dating bad girls and other similar situations. This is based on my experience watching some high class and good girl old friends of mine getting mistreated by bad boy thuggish types and the negative impact it left on my old friends for a long time. Unfortunately, they continued dating bad boys who treated them badly, like the first one, until some of them came to their senses and realized that their parents or other family members were speaking from years of experience and were right. In decent human societies, kids are raised to not be too judgmental or overly critical of others. They are told to play nice and make friends. The world is portrayed as a basically safe and friendly place. As the years pass by, some people may have experiences or hear some things that contradicts most of that. There definitely are good people in the world, and most places are safe, but sometimes a bad person may come along. There are bad and evil people in this world. They are not misunderstood rebels who can't be reformed. These people are really bad and enjoy being bad. A lot of people have not seen the really bad and evil people without their masks, but they do exist. Unfortunately, these people prey on good or decent people. This leads to the good girl dating the bad boy scenario and her family and friends being up in arms. So let's get right in the middle of it. The good girl starts dating a bad guy. She introduces him to her friends and they are cold or suspicious. She introduces him to her parents and it's over. They are not accepting him under any circumstances. The couple now feels like everyone's against them. He tells her they must fight for their love, and she apparently has to choose between her family and love, or her friends and love. What's love got to do with it? Is he insinuating that her family doesn't love her or that her friends don't care about her? In most cases, that's not true. Her family loves her, and that's why they are opposed to him. The parents and elders have years of experience and have seen many things. They have some idea of what that boy's background is like and how he was raised. The apple usually doesn't fall far from the tree, but if it did in this circumstance, it would become undeniably obvious. Most times, the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. There have been so many movies about the good girl changing the bad boy or helping him become a man. It's usually a quick and almost painless turnover with her family striking the blows and him just bleeding love for her. Let's talk about the reality of the situation. Most of the times, the bad boy is treating the good girl badly in some way. It seems like he's using her, and he's not just sadly pleading with her to stay, but almost yelling and bullying her to stay. He is usually the one to ask her to choose between family or him, because family will always be family no matter what. He knows he is disposable. She can always get a new boyfriend. So, if he doesn't get her pregnant to force a blood connection, he most likely will ask her to choose. He is not the nice, humble, and hopelessly in love character portrayed in books and film. He feels entitled and acts like he just caught a prized prey. This is not true in all cases, but it's true in most cases. Or he'll tell her that she can go and act like he doesn't care, then do things to lure her back to him, and it becomes this make up, break up thing where he plays with her mind and blames her friends and her family for messing up their relationship. There are other variations of this type of dysfunctional relationship, but the gist of it is that he really is bad news and will just mess up her mind. She is probably a decent person who believes in the good in others, and this is what kept her in a bad relationship, because she keeps looking for that good in him so that she could bring it out, show everyone, and they could live happily ever after. However, after dealing with him, she can change from the good girl who believes in the good in others to a bitter female who thinks all men are dogs and is just looking for someone to treat her right. It doesn't have to be that way, and that's what her family is trying to prevent. Her parents spent a lot of time and effort into helping her become the good or decent person she was before she met him, and don't want him to mess that up. There are good or decent guys who can appreciate who she is and even encourage her to become better. They want what's best for her, and from years of experience, they can tell he isn't what's best for her. To be fair, the friends and family should make sure that he is a bad apple who is staying near the tree and not one who is quickly rolling away. Earlier, I mentioned the ones with potential who actually will achieve something with that potential. If I was in a situation where someone good was dating bad, but the person they're dating seemed to have potential, I would still be skeptical of him or her until she or he actually fulfilled that potential. For example, if I was a parent whose good girl was dating bad, I would tell the bad boy this. I would say, to be honest, I don't think you are good for my daughter. Don't fight me or give her grief over it, because I love her just as much or more than you, and I will love her as long as she lives. Instead, prove that you are good for her. If you really are, then you won't make her fight her family for you. You don't have to risk your life or do harmful or illegal things or play servant to the family. That's not what I'm asking. You just have to prove that you are capable of helping her stay good or become better and can care for her as good or better than we have. We just want to make sure she is with someone who can love and care for her as much as we do. That's fair, isn't it? The bad boy who won't change will make excuses or cause fights or drama. The one who can't prove or live up to their potential in a reasonable amount of time isn't good enough and needs to take time alone to improve himself. He doesn't need a relationship. He needs to work on himself. If the good girl decides to stay and raise the bad boy so he could become a man, then she will be hurting herself. He will put her through hell with all his antics. He will wear her out. She has to stop living her life so that she can help him grow up. Not worth it, considering how much pain and suffering and years she will lose until he decides to help himself. You can't help someone until they decide to help themselves and change. If he's back and forth on it and is just doing it to keep her, then she has years of turmoil ahead because she first has to convince him to change for the better, which means fighting his friends, family, and upbringing. Then she has to hope he follows through. That's too much. The only person you have to raise are the kids you brought into the world. And again, you can't change someone who doesn't want to change. Remember that I used the good girl with a bad guy as an example, but this could go either way and apply to similar situations. Quickly watch the intro to review some of those situations. So the bad boy will say that they have to fight for their love, or she can't let her parents rule her life. There's some truth in that. She shouldn't let her parents, family, or friends run her life. Because of this, she may be determined to stay with him to prove to them that this is her life and she is a grown woman capable of making her own decisions. Here's where it becomes tricky and she starts fighting two different battles without knowing it. She could hold on tight to the bad boy and stay in a bad relationship just because she wants to prove her parents wrong. She wants to prove to them that the relationship could last and that she is her own person. In that, she could ignore all the warning signs that a relationship she thought was good is going bad. Don't fall into that trap. Good or decent guy or girl, ask yourself and answer honestly. Am I asserting my independence or fighting for this love? Am I just trying to show my friends and family that I can make good decisions and that they should back off a bit in general? Because if it's more about a separate issue of you asserting your independence or showing that you are a mature adult to your friends and family, you can do that in ways other than staying in a bad relationship that they happened to be right about. Prove it with something else that doesn't have the potential to destroy you physically, psychologically, spiritually, or emotionally like a bad relationship. The point is that you shouldn't fall into all the hype about forbidden love. Think realistically because you're not living in a movie or novel. You're living in reality with real consequences. For your own good, see if that bad boy is not only capable but willing to become a better person. Let's get real. There is all this hoopla about the bad boy being attractive because he's bad and can't be tied down. That may not be true in most cases. Most girls are attracted to bad boys who also happen to be good looking, and the bad boy part scares them away. Aside from masochists, who wants to be treated badly? It's recently that the bad boy part has supposedly become an asset. The bad boy term usually meant someone capable of becoming a decent person but is involved in bad things. In recent times, it refers to a bad person who's involved in bad things and likes it that way. If someone like that happens to be good looking, you're probably just attracted to his or her good looks. There's plenty of good looking people out there who aren't bad boys or bad girls. Find one that likes you back. If the bad boy is not good looking but happens to have money, you might just be attracted to his higher income lifestyle. In that case, find ways to make more money on your own. If you like him because he just happens to have a nice personality, then find someone else with a nice personality. Yes, I am saying not to get with the bad boy, because if someone chooses to lead a bad life and doesn't want to change, that gives you a peek into his or her real personality. You might be attracted to a masked predator, a wolf in sheep's clothing, and maybe putting yourself at risk. Bad boys or bad girls usually hang out with other bad people who will target you if the bad boy or bad girl does something wrong to them. You may be nice to them, but they will go after you just to get back at the bad boy or bad girl. It's not worth it. If the bad boy or bad girl really wants to start something new with you, then she or he has to clean up his or her life, cut ties with the bad life, and start over. But make sure that she or he does it because they want to, for himself, for herself. And that's because a bad boy or bad girl may do that and then use it to make you feel obligated to stay in the relationship if it doesn't work out. She or he may also get violent or start stalking you if you leave because they feel they gave up so much for you and that you owe them. Ideally, if a relationship with a bad boy or bad girl doesn't work out, it should be a clean split, with him or her thanking you for helping him or her become a better person.